Hello everyone, this is Blackberry Bushcraft. I'm going to be showing you how to make a simple short bow in a matter of a few hours today. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find a tree. I'm using cedar for this, although yew and Osage orange are typically thought of as some of the best woods. I'm just going to saw this tree down. I'm making sure this one's dead so I don't have to take a living one. And for cedar, at least, you can tell just because there are no needles on the branches. I use cedar for many of my projects. It is a soft wood, so it is very easy to carve, and the high resin content in cedar keeps it from rotting away as quickly. For ease of carrying this tree back, I'm going to chop off many of the smaller branches. I'm using a hatchet for this, but you can use a rock, a saw, or whatever you have on hand. Now that I've carried this back to my house, I'm going to saw this to the length I desire. For a longbow, you would usually cut the wood to about as tall as you are. For this, I believe it's about at my shoulder or chest level. I'm now removing the bark from this. This is not a necessary step, but I like to do it because I use the bark for tinder, and I find that it helps the process go by more quickly later. While you're removing bark from the wood, be sure not to remove any wood with the bark, because this will cause the bow to possibly snap later when it's under tension. Once I'm done removing the bark, I'm going to start removing the wood itself. As you do this, just taper down the ends of the bow. When you're hacking away at this, whether it be with a knife, an axe, a hatchet, or whatever other tool you're using, make sure you're using the weight of the tool and flicking your wrist to get the desired motion. If you're using your arm, that'll put a lot of stress on your joint and you'll get tired and sore much more quickly than if you're using the weight of the blade to your advantage. Here's a picture of the side profile of the bow. Notice how the ends are tapered down. I also did some work on the handle in the middle, but you can ignore that for now. And here's a picture of the profile of the belly of the bow. As you go through this process, make sure you're testing the bow every few minutes to make sure one side is not bending much more than the other. I now begin carving away at the handle. I can show you how this looks later in the video. Here's how the bow is looking now. You can see that handle and see that beautiful red wood the cedar has. With this side profile now, you can see how the ends are tapered down. Here's a picture of the side profile again. Notice that handle and how the ends taper down as you go along the length of the bow. And now begin work on the sides of the bow. You also want these to taper down as you go down the bow. I now drill a hole in either side of the bow. This is to put the string in. Many bow makers will make a notch or a sort of knob on either end of the bow to loop the string over, but this is how I like to do it. At this point, I'm starting to file the bow down, and then I'm going to sand it. This is again not a necessary step, but I like it because it makes the bow feel really smooth and well made. For this process, I believe I used 60 and then 100 grit sandpaper. Here is the profile of the bow. You can see that handle and how the ends are tapered down. Here is the side profile of the bow. You see again how those are tapered down, and you can see my handle right there, how it's just as thick as the rest. Here's the short bow compared to my long bow I made a while ago. The long bow is of course a lot longer, but the short bow still has a lot of power. And you see the same side and front profiles of both of these bows. Here you can see how the handle looks once completed. You can see how it sits flush with the bow in one dimension, but it's thin in the other from the front side.